Mausers! No collection is complete without a whole pile of them. And what we have here are Argentine Mausers. These are Argentine military contract Mausers. These were made in Germany. Prior to 1910, what we have here are the 1891 Mausers. You can always pick them out easy because they have the detachable 5-round magazine right there. And of course the 1909 Mauser. The 1909 is basically a Gewehr 98. There's not a whole lot of difference between them except they are 7.65 instead of 7.92 millimeter. This particular 1909 is unissued and fully matching. You can see, let's see if we can get a look at the markings here. It does not have a ground crest. The crest is intact. It's original. You can see that the receiver on these were in the white, and that's correct. That's how they were made. It has a few handling marks on it from kicking around some arsenal for 100 years, but that's about it. And there is no import mark on this one, as it is a pre-1968 GCA import. No import marks were required. You can see here, the Argentine 1909 has an adapter. The adapter is to fit the 1909 bayonet. These bayonets, by the way, are also German. They are an incredible piece of craftsmanship, and they are usually also matched. Originally these were probably numbers matched to the rifles. Now you're lucky to find one that's numbers matched to its own scabbard. This one is. Let me see if I can get a picture of that there. And of course the camera don't want to. Oh, there we go. And you can see that number actually does match. And they're a long one too. Real stabby one, that one. Give it a little more reach. And I have, where is it? Let's put this out of the way for a second, where I don't stab myself with it. This is a German Gewehr, 1917, and also a DWM. And you can see how similar the rifles are. Of course, the German rifles have the bolt takedown aid right there. But you can see that they're very, very similar. This particular Gewehr is a World War II, World War II, pre-World War II rebuild. It has the S42 mark sight on it, not the old ramp sight, so you can see that's more in common with the K98 than it is this, but that's what they did with these between the wars. And of course the handguard is altered. Let's get that out of the way. That's a rifle for another video at another day. We have some really, whoops, almost dropped it. We have some really nice markings on the stock. You can see the little crest right there. That's something that they all have. Here it is again on the 1891. See if I can get a nice close-up of that. Oh yeah, it's cooperating for once. Now the 1891 is the old two-locking lug rifle. This one here is unground. A lot of these had the crests ground off of them before importation into the US out of Argentina. A lot of theories about why that was done, but most likely it was simply done because they were no longer the property of the Argentine military, and the Argentine government did not want these rifles possibly falling into the hands of their neighbors. Revolutions and shit like that going on, and they just didn't want their crest to be on them. You see the beautiful crest on there. These 1891s had blued receivers. This is a fully matching 1891. And while I'm sure it is issued, it was used fairly gently. Some of these can be extremely well worn from years and years, hell, decades of use. This is an early 1891, as can be seen by the short handguard, as opposed to the longer handguard found in some of the later ones. This is a Ludwig Lowe rifle. I'll turn that around so you can see the markings. Ludwig Lowe rifles are all pre-1898. Ludwig Lowe eventually became DWM in, I believe, 1899, 1900, somewhere around there. And those are considered modern firearms today. It doesn't want to reflect. You can see it there, Ludwig Lowe. It's probably a little clearer on the other one. Oops. And just lost some of our light. Oh well. This is a DWM. The 1909 is a DWM rifle.
And you can see that if the camera cooperates. There we go. Deutsche Waffen- und Munitionsfabriken, Berlin.
Otherwise known as DWM. Now this third rifle back here is matching, same as the other one. However, as you can see, the crest was removed, and they did a fairly neat job of it. It's not a nasty grind like you find at a lot of the Arisakas. It's nicely buffed off of there, and if you didn't know what to look for, you wouldn't even realize that there had been a crest on this rifle. But of course, whatever cold bluing they stuck back on there didn't quite hold up over time. And you can see the one thing about these rifles is they're so nicely made. You can see all the little markings and crests. Look at that right there on the sight. There's the Argentine hand clasp mark on there. Everything is so beautifully fitted and polished, typical of 19th century workmanship. And on this 1909, and in fact on the 91s also, when they number these things, even the cleaning rods, let me turn the rifle around so you can see it. Even the cleaning rods are matched, numbers matched to the rifles. And you don't find many of them like that, but they are out there.
There it is, 3188.
You look over here.
Look at that. Everything is numbered. The bolt is all numbered. On some German rifles, and you'll see this when I do the Geweers, even the bolts, little screws, everything like that, they're all numbers matched too. You can see the little stamps they have on there, a little bit of dust from me playing with it in here.
And they are really great shooters. I mean, obviously, all three of these rifles have bores that are absolutely pristine. They just didn't see a lot of use. So if you're lucky enough to have one of these and you can somehow either reload yourself or find some 7.65 Argentine, they make excellent shooters. You want to go a little easy with the 1891s. These rifles really were not made to handle full power modern loads. It's good to download them a little bit. Yeah, they'll handle a small number of them, but you can start to do some damage if you give them a steady diet of it. You know, the ammunition for these really hasn't been made in a long time, and they weren't quite as powerful as today's loads, modern commercial loads, if you can find them. Just really, really nice rifles. I always liked them. And back when I was collecting a lot of this stuff, 25, almost 30 years ago now, these things were really inexpensive. I think the most I paid for any of these rifles was $100, and that was for the 1909. The other ones, you know, probably 40, 50 bucks. Nowadays you're going to pay, who knows, 400 and up probably. I don't know what the 1909 is going for these days. It's ridiculous what some prices are on Mausers, but they really are beautifully made rifles. Really beautifully made rifles. And that should do it for a look at the Mausers today.